Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a Lambda run with mostly poison as a build. I'll be putting a little bit of lightning in there as well though. So it's unfortunate that I need both chance boosts, but I've tried running it without the lightning boost, and it's just, I'll get through most of the runs, sometimes even an entire run, without getting what I need from lightning, which is really annoying. That's one of the things that makes the tactic system in general really annoying to work around. If you don't have these chance boosts, the chance of getting the actual tactics that you want are very low. So on Lambda, I'm always running acceleration. She can stack up hits quickly enough that even if I accidentally take a hit and lose the damage, I can get it back up quick enough that it'll outscale other damage options. They also did a small update, so now you can actually see that this stacks up to 200%. Nobody ever knew how high it stacked before, but now it's good to know. I'm going to be switching things around as well, and putting in starting well off and solo performance. I've been realizing it the more that I play that shops and exchange points have a really high importance in this game, especially as you go into some of the higher entropy settings, where enemies have a lot of HP scaling. So if you think about it here, I'll start it with 200 extra exchange points. A potential in the shop is worth 150 to buy, and every time I buy a potential or pick up a potential, I gain a 20% damage boost. So buying potentials, even if it's just one potential that I can buy from this, it's very close to the damage boost that I would get from something like straightforward, and having the potential actually progresses my character as well. It either gives me an upgrade to a move that I want, or a new move that I want, something like that. So money is very, very broken in this game. If you can ever stack multiple perfect clears with this solo performance, your runs will scale very quickly in terms of the damage output you're doing and the amount of potentials you'll end the run at. I don't know how many bosses I'll actually be able to perfect clear on this one, due to me doing commentary, and my tactics are not going to be doing a lot of DPS in this run like they would be in other runs, but it should be fine either way, since I'm going to be playing Lambda. So another thing that's really strange that I've done here, in order to take advantage of shot mechanics as well, is you probably don't know this, but you can actually turn on and off the buffs you get here from your entropy settings. I don't know why you would want to do it normally, unless you're like trying to do a challenge run of high entropy with no buffs. But in my case, I am turning off Sortisho and shops offer more content. I won't be visiting Sortishos anyways, unless it's a mistake. So that one doesn't hurt me at all. And having the shops offer less content is actually a benefit to me. What I was originally hoping it would do is make it where potentials would show up in the shop more often, but really all the difference that I've seen is that when you're having tactic options in the shop to like buy a tactic, I don't think it can be anything above blue rarity if you have that shop content turned off, which is good for me because I can buy a white tactic for 100 and resell it for 130, and that's because of my 70 entropy reward. So that's another thing I'll be doing to take advantage of making more money throughout the run. Alright, so on to the tactic stuff. If you want to run poison at all, I think you really need to start with all the upgrades you want for it, and you need to start with everything at gold tier as well. Poison is a very, very strange thing, and we'll see it as we start getting into the run itself. The mechanics behind Poison took me a while to figure out in the first place, because they are quite strange. So there, you could probably see it briefly if you were watching. Or here, you'll see that sometimes the enemies have a kind of mark above their head that slowly fills up. And that is from the poison taking effect on them. So, the way that poison works in this game is that whenever the poison is able to deal its damage, the poison will always deal enough damage to kill that enemy. It's sort of like an execute in that regard, but it works different than execute mechanics. So what actually determines the time that the poison takes to go off is how much HP the enemy currently has when the poison debuff is applied to them. So this makes poison very, very inconsistent throughout the run in multiple different ways. One of the ways that it makes it very inconsistent is that if I hit a enemy with the poison debuff when they're at max HP, it's going to take them a lot longer for that poison effect to ever go off. If the poison hits them at low HP, which is what is happening most of the time here, like right there, you can see that the poison went off almost immediately. And the other problem with that is that it makes your poison very, very inconsistent throughout the course of the run. When it decides the HP that it needs to kill an enemy, it decides on their actual current HP value. So, like if an enemy had 1,000 HP, it might take 10 seconds, for example, but if the enemy had 100 HP, it would take 1 second. That's just, like, completely random numbers for the sake of explanation. It's not a percentage HP value, so it's going to be working completely differently on enemies like in this first area that don't have a very high HP pool amount. But by the time I get to the last area of the game, the poison is going to be taking so long to go off that it's never going to go off before I kill the enemies myself. So I guess, in a way, it's somewhat of an interesting mechanic that it's very strong early and very weak later on. But I'm assuming that's not what they had intended for it to be. I would much rather see it be something that is much more consistent throughout the run. Because having a delayed damage effect in this game itself is already a bad thing. And then when you have the poison scaling so badly that it can't even attack by the end of the run, there's a very major issue there. So here's what I was talking about. I bought this for 100, and now I sell it back for 130. That's just because of my entropy settings that I'm able to do it. So the other thing about poison as well is, like I was saying, you need to start with everything, partially because if you wait until like half the run to finish your poison, the enemies are going to have such high HP that it's not going to be doing anything anyways. And the other thing is, I think you really need all of these specific upgrades and all of them at gold before it even reaches a point where it can reasonably proc on like half the run. If you don't have everything and you don't have everything upgraded, then the poison is just really, really awful. What? Hang on a second. I almost wasted my HP mixture there. It's nice and it's really weird at the same time. My controller has a button where I can shift to where my left control stick will function as the D-pad. Sometimes that accidentally gets pressed and I'm not aware of it. Because with the D-pad you can still move around in this game, but I have my HP mixtures on D-pad up, so I don't have to do any button combination for them. So when I hit up on my left thumbstick there, it tried to use my HP mixture. I need to try not to enter rests this run, so I'm not running debuff removal. I'll be trying to remove the debuffs mostly through either shop discounts or perfect clearing bosses. But at that time it was a hidden space, so I just couldn't see it. I don't really care about tactic ascensions, but I guess it's actually pretty nice on Chain Lightning. Most tactic ascensions aren't really that good in the game, but if I get free ones, I might as well pick them up. So before I go into this boss fight, I'll also talk about the Lambda potential that I've been going into throughout this run. I kind of consider this Lambda's Exodia build. You want Heavy Strike upon hitting an enemy, summons additional blades to follow up with more attacks. If you can get the second one at some point, it's good, but you don't want it as early on, unless you just see it somewhere. And then you want Corsair Saber. As soon as you pick up Corsair Saber and Heavy Strike, you get this hidden effect, where your Heavy Strike inflicts a mark, and then it hits a lot of damage on enemies, and it hits a lot of blades to stack up your combo thing, combo Mind Crystal. And then the last piece of it is universal attacks. There are more blades. You're gonna see my heavy attacks pretty much shred through this boss without much of an issue, despite me not having like Frost or anything as a DPS tactic. This build for Lambda is just ridiculously strong. If you pair this heavy attack build with Frost, then nothing in the game will be able to last for more than a few seconds against you. Did I really take damage there? No, I don't think I did. We'll find out, though. Okay, good. I got my perfect clear. I wasn't sure if I took damage from the fire hitting me on the edge, or if it was my, the timer debuff making me take damage. The only reason I was concerned about perfect clearing the boss there is that, remember I took a Mind Crystal at the beginning, where I get an extra 200 exchange points for doing so. So a couple other things I'm going into for the poison build is that I started with Intense Virulent Bomb. The explosion of Virulent Bomb inflicts poison on enemies, so that way I just have another way of applying poison. And I want to go into the red effect at the end of the Virulent Bomb tree as well. I picked up the Chain Lightning on my skills, just because Chain Lightning is good in itself, and Chain Lightning also has a red effect with poison, to where as soon as I pick it up, the Chain Lightning will spread poison as well for me. That's going to be nice for this Lambda run especially, because for one, the Luminous Slave portals very easily will apply Chain Lightning over time for me, while I'm doing my regular attack combos on enemies. And then the other reason is that if you're taking the attack version of the Miasma, or the attack version of Poison, it's called Attack Miasma, is why I got mixed up there. But anyways, if you take the attack version of Poison, you have to kill an enemy before you can start poisoning other enemies. So that means poison is just not able to be applied to boss fights. But luckily there are plenty of different different red tactics, or even just regular tactics you can do to get around that in the Poison Tree and in Chain Lightning. You can do the one that I started out with, where Virulent Bombs will inflict poison when they explode. You can also do where Legacy Venom will inflict poison. You can get the Slimes to inflict poison with a red effect. It's really weird how many ways there are to inflict poison on the Poison Tree. Especially because it does not seem like poison stacks at all, either. Man, what is going on here? I feel like I need to double check. Wait, did I already get it? I don't remember picking this up, but apparently I did. This is what I was talking about, though. Lightning Chain can inflict poison on enemies. That's just a way of helping spread it around more easily and making it apply to bosses. Wow, I got lucky there and didn't get the chance. Normally I would not be taking risky things like that reduce my HP, but with Lambda I'm much more comfortable than other characters. It's kind of the same thing with the Mind Crystal for perfect clearing bosses. It's probably not something I'm going to take on every character, but on the characters that I'm more comfortable with, it's very nice when I can make use of it. I'd really like it if the game gave me my triple dash. Hopefully it's not going to be like the run I did right before this to warm up, where I just didn't get my triple dash for most of the run. So one of the other problems with poison is that it does basically nothing. Well, the poison might not be doing anything, but Lambda sure is. Good God. Lambda's a broken character. I've said it before that Lambda's broken. I know I have some bias because Lambda's my favorite character, but you can't really argue with that much. What just happened there? I have no tactics dealing any DPS for me in the boss fight, and yet he still dies in a couple seconds. Another really good thing I should mention too, I'll go back to that in a minute if I remember. The other thing I've been building towards during this run is Virulent Poison Bomb. When a poisoned enemy takes damage from a poison tick, they drop a Virulent Bomb. And remember that the Virulent Bomb will then apply poison. So this is going to work similar to the Lightning Impulse that I did with Taukaka before, where one enemy can die and start a chain reaction of other enemies exploding. Because I need the Virulent Bomb to explode, getting the enemy to low health, and then apply the poison when they're at low health, so they still blow up quickly. So there you could see, I could just leave a couple of the enemies, and they would chain dying back to back. I might be able to get some really good chain reactions here. A lot of it just depends on how quickly the enemies are spawning. See here, I can just sit here and do nothing for a while. I need one of those rooms where it's like kill 50 enemies to progress. Those ones are usually the best for having fastest spawning enemies. I'm not sure if I want to bother going for the slimes or the legacy venom. Actually, I think I probably should go for the legacy venom, because I can get this. After exploding, a virulent bomb leaves behind venom, and then I can get venom inflicting poison as well, or I can just get it in larger range or lasting longer. I could go for the slimes inflicting poison, but I don't really need to at this point. I'd rather take the venom, because it synergizes better with what I have currently. If I wasn't doing a commentary video, I would honestly just start selling all of the rest of the tactics to buy more potentials. But for the sake of showing off even more of the poison tactic tree, I'll keep getting stuff from it. I want to show off a lot more tactics. It's just difficult when a lot of the tactics don't deal damage. I really don't think a lot of tactics were designed for how much HP the enemies are at with these high settings. Because the entropy settings are something that was added in after the game, or as the game launched. It wasn't something that was originally designed into the game. So another thing I forgot to mention along the way is that I picked up Luminous Slave and Triple Jump, which activated this hidden effect you can see here. Every time I jump, it does a portal, and it does a hit of the Luminous Slave blades. That is extremely good, just in general, because you can see each blade does like 1,000 to 2,000 damage, and the blades from that count as a skill hit, so they're constantly proccing the Chain Lightning for me, which is applying the poison. Both the actual Luminous Slave portals in themselves and the jump portals make Chain Lightning on skills just work extremely well on Lambda, and then you can go cold for the attacks if you want to maximize on your damage. This boss is going to be a bit of a pain for the... because I can't really... you can heavy strike in the air, but the thing that's really powerful about heavy strike is how quickly you can chain it back to back. Does it matter? Apparently not. So this is what I was saying at the beginning of the video when I was showing my mine crystals. If you're getting a lot of perfect clear on bosses and you're maximizing your shop usage to where you're buying the most potentials, where is it? Right up here in the top corner. Current effects, I have a 360% damage boost right now. It is absolutely insane, the value that you get out of potentials in this game. So each potential itself contributes to the number up here in the corner. You get 20% boost to your total damage every time you pick up a potential. And then there's also a damage boost for potentials in that potential tree itself. So for example, my Heavy Strike has another 40% damage boost on top of it, on top of the boost that I get up here. And that's another 20% increase for each upgrade of the Heavy Strike tree that I took. So then, like, Universal Enhancement should be giving the heavy strikes another 80%, since Universal Enhancements are for all of your attacks. In this case, it might be a little different since it says Universal Attacks and Skills, but either way, the Universal Enhancements I picked up are highly contributing to the damage I'm dealing on the heavy strikes. It's something you don't realize as you're playing, but potentials give you a huge buff over the course of a run, even if it's not a potential you're ever actually using. And it's something that becomes very apparent in a run like this one, where I've really maximized my potential gain throughout the run to just stack up a ridiculous amount of base damage on my character. These blue orb projectiles are really annoying. They were already a little bit annoying before the Entropy setting upgrades, but now that the enemies attack faster and spawn more, they're a lot worse than they used to be. I wish you could just hit them out of the air to destroy the projectiles, but you just kind of have to wait them out a lot of times, or try and use dash invincibility to go through them. So, if you want to see just how crazy the damage scaling that I've got over this run is, you can look at my jump attack is now hitting, I think it's hitting 3,000. It's hard to tell if that's the jump attack or the poison or the chain lightning, but I'm pretty sure it's the jump attack. So now here's another effect for the virulent bombs that you can pick up if you want to go for the full poison route. The virulent bombs will explode and then just leave behind damage over time on the ground. I'm not even using the legacy venom, it's that right there, the poison that gets, or the venom that gets left on the ground. The damage of it is a complete joke, though. Some people might wonder why I barely ever use legacy skills in this game, and that's partially just because I forget about them, but there's a perfectly good reason to forget about them when they're doing so much less than what my character can do, is the easiest way to put it, I guess. I guess I'll pick up slimes just to finish off the poison build. I don't think I'll be able to get many upgrades to them, but for the sake of showing off more poison tactics, I'll do it. Now we might see a lot of poison bombs appear. It's really gonna depend on what can kill the enemies faster. Me... What the heck happened there? I've never seen that one before. The momentum from my Corsair Saber launched me across the whole map. I don't know how that happened. I normally wouldn't do this, but I'll go for an extra toxin stage even. Normally you don't want to take extra combat stages if you're running on the timer settings where you have less time. But this case, I'm so out of control that it doesn't matter. I think I want the self-destructing slimes instead of the... Well, I'll take these since they're gold. I will fish for some extra combat rating this run. I don't really care about combat rating, but it'll be nice to see it go up anyways. Just because that slime upgrade I don't care about anyways. Man, imagine if I had frost attacks right now. The bosses are already just not lasting more than a couple seconds. If I had frost on top of all this, it would be absolutely insane damage right now. And just as a reminder, the poison is barely doing anything against the bosses. This is all just my base damage. Part of it from... Lambda just has very, very good damage scaling in general. And then the other part is just how many tactics I have right now. Let's check one more time real quick. 380% damage boost that I've got right now. And then you can put that on top of... In that last boss fight, I had close to a 2000 combo. So my Acceleration Mind Shard was giving me a lot of damage right there. I'm not sure where the exact number of combo that it caps out on off the top of my head. It should be somewhere a bit above 2000. Man, moving through Omega Sector with Lambda when having these potentials and Chain Lightning is so nice. You don't even have to worry about any of the enemies. Your jump portals just kill everything. I'm not sure if the upgrade to... Where is it? There's an upgrade for Corsair Saber here that says the marked enemy will get attacked by even more blades. I'm not sure if that affects the heavy strike mark. I'm assuming not, but I don't know for sure. How many potentials do I even have? Hold on a second. 4, 8, 10, 12, 14, 21, I think? That's a lot of potentials. I could have way more, even, if I was selling all of my tactics. The fact that I have 20 potentials and still have almost maxed out tactics is really insane. Normally runs do not go this smoothly, but it just kind of made a snowball effect where I perfect cleared the first boss and got the extra money from that, and then gradually, as I continued to perfect clear all the rest of them, I got even more. I wonder if you get money for perfect clearing the extra bosses in Omega Sector. You could end up with a ton of potentials by the end of your run, if you could do that too. Wow, okay. Well, that was quite a run. It ended up being less of a showing of poison tactics and more of a showing of the power of potentials and the power of Lambda. That was a really good run to get on commentary, though. I'm really happy with that run. So what the heck do I do for my legacy tactics here? I think I definitely want to try some of electric detoxification on other builds. If I could get lightning here, that'd be perfect then. Or do I want to go for a double red? I don't think so. I think what I should have actually done is gone for Lingering Venom and Poison Virulent Bomb as a double red tactic or something. It's fine. I probably won't be running Poison on other runs anyways. Whereas with the skill Lightning, I can put it onto any character. That was a 15-minute in-game time clear. Wow. If I actually focused and, like, tried to speedrun through it, I could probably get the clear down to 10 minutes or less as Lambda. Because that was with very unoptimal tactics. It's about the same 42 minutes in real time, probably because I was explaining more at the beginning, and maybe a couple times throughout the run. But anyways, that'll be it for this one. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.